These rules challenge religious dogma, and each of them represents a deep spiritual lesson, blending love, mysticism, and self discovery. So I'm going to read you the 40 rules of love and then some of my favorite parts of the book. Rule number one: how we see God is a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. If God brings to mind mostly fear and blame, it means there is too much fear and blame welled inside us. If we see God as full of love and compassion, so are we. Rule number two: the path to the truth is a labor of the heart, not of the head. Make your heart your primary guide, not your mind. Meet, challenge, and ultimately prevail over your ego with your heart. Rule number three: each and every reader comprehends the holy book on a different level, in tandem with the depth of his understanding. There are four levels of insight. The first level is the outer meaning, and it is the one that the majority of people are content with. Next is the inner level. Third, there is the inner of the inner. And the fourth level is so deep it cannot be put into words and is therefore bound to remain indescribable. I don't think this is just about understanding the holy book or Quran. It can be about understanding anything. That's what I like about these 40 rules. You can apply them to your beliefs, to your situations, however you want. Rule number four: you can study God through everything and everyone in the universe, because God is not confined in a mosque, synagogue, or church. But if you are still in need of knowing where exactly his adobe is, there's only one place to look for him: in the heart of a true lover. Rule number five: intellect and love are made of different materials. Intellect ties people in knots and risks nothing, but love dissolves all tangles and risks everything. Intellect is always cautious and advises, beware too much ecstasy, whereas love says, oh, never mind, take the plunge. Intellect does not easily break down, whereas love can effortlessly reduce itself to rubble. But treasures are hidden among ruins. A broken heart hides treasures. Rule number six: most of the problems of the world stem from linguistic mistakes and simple misunderstandings. Don't ever take words at face value. When you step into the zone of love, language as we know it becomes obsolete. That which cannot be put into words can only be grasped through silence. Rule number seven: loneliness and solitude are two different things. When you're lonely, it is easy to delude yourself into believing that you are on the right path. Solitude is better for us as it means being alone without feeling lonely. But eventually, it is best to find a person, the person who will be your mirror. Remember, only in another person's heart can you truly see yourself and the presence of God within you. Rule number eight: whatever happens in your life, no matter how troubling things might seem, do not enter the neighborhood of despair. Even when all doors remain closed, God will open a new path only for you. Be thankful. It is easy to be thankful when all is well. A Sufi is thankful not only for what he has been given, but also for all that he has been denied. Rule number nine: patience does not mean to passively endure. It means to be far-sighted enough to trust the end result of a process. What does patience mean? It means to look at the thorn and see the rose, to look at the night and see the dawn. Impatience means to be so short-sighted as to not be able to see the outcome. The lovers of God never run out of patience, for they know that time is needed for the crescent moon to become full. Rule number 10. I love this one. East, west, south, or north, makes little difference. No matter what your destination, just be sure to make every journey a journey within. If you travel within, you'll travel the whole wide world and beyond. Rule number 11. The midwife knows that when there is no pain, the way for the baby cannot be opened and the mother cannot give birth. Likewise, for a new self to be born, hardship is necessary. Just as clay needs to go through intense heat to become strong, love can only be perfected in pain. Rule number 12. The quest for love changes us. There is no seeker among those who search for love who has not matured on the way. The moment you start looking for love, you start to change within and without. Rule number 13. There are more fake gurus and false teachers in this world than the number of stars in the visible universe. Don't confuse power driven, self centered people with true mentors. A genuine spiritual master will not direct your attention to himself or herself and will not expect absolute obedience or utter admiration from you, but instead will help you to appreciate and admire your inner self. True mentors are as transparent as glass. They let the light of God pass through them. Rule number 14, it's my favorite. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you and do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? Rule number 15. God is busy with the completion of your work, both outwardly and inwardly. He's fully occupied with you. Every human being is a work in progress that is slowly but inexorably moving toward perfection. We are each an unfinished work of art, both waiting and striving to be completed. God deals with each of us separately because humanity is a fine art of skilled penmanship where every single dot is equally important for the entire picture. Rule number 16. It's easy to love a perfect God, unblemished and infallible that He is. What is far more difficult is to love fellow human beings with all their imperfections and defects. Remember, one can only know what one is capable of loving. There is no wisdom without love. Unless we learn to love God's creation, we can neither truly love nor truly know God. Rule number 17. Real filth is the one inside. The rest simply washes off. There is only one type of dirt that cannot be cleansed with pure water, and that is the stain of hatred and bigotry contaminating the soul. You can purify your body through abstinence and fasting, but only love will purify your heart. Rule number 18. The whole universe is contained within a single human being, you. Everything that you see around, including the things you might not be fond of and even the people you despise or abhor, is present within you in varying degrees. Therefore, do not look for Satan outside yourself either. The devil is not an extraordinary force that attacks from without. It is an ordinary voice within. If you get to know yourself fully, facing with honesty and hardness both your dark and bright sides, you will arrive at a supreme form of consciousness. When a person knows himself or herself, he or she knows God. By the way, Shams and Rumi's writings both are in Persian, and in Persian language there are no gender pronouns. There is just one pronoun for all genders. Less confusing, right? Rule number 19. This is a good one too. If you want to change the way others treat you, you should first change the way you treat yourself. Unless you learn to love yourself fully and sincerely, there is no way you can be loved. Once you achieve that stage, however, be thankful for every thorn that others might throw at you. It is a sign that you will soon be showered in roses. Rule number 20: fret not where the road will take you. Instead, concentrate on the first step. That's the hardest part, and that's what you are responsible for. Once you take that step, let everything do what it naturally does, and the rest will follow. Do not go with the flow, be the flow. Rule number 21: we're all created in God's image, and yet we were each created different and unique. No two people are alike, no two hearts beat the same rhythm. If God had wanted everyone to be the same, He would have made it so. Therefore, disrespecting differences and imposing your thoughts on others is tantamount to disrespecting God's holy scheme. Rule number 22: when a true lover of God goes into tavern, the tavern becomes his chamber of prayer. But when a wine bibber goes into the same chamber, it becomes his tavern. In everything we do, it is our hearts that make the difference, not our outer appearance. Sufis do not judge other people on how they look or who they are. When a Sufi stares at someone, he keeps both eyes closed and instead opens a third eye, the eye that sees the inner realm. Rule number 23: life is a temporary loan, and this world is nothing but a sketchy imitation of reality. Only children would mistake a toy for the real thing, and yet human beings either become infatuated with the toy or disrespectfully break it and throw it aside. In this life, stay away from all kinds of extremities, for they will destroy your inner balance. Sufis do not go to extremes. A Sufi always remains mild and moderate. Rule number 24: the human being has a unique place among God's creation. I breathed into him of my spirit, God says. Each and every one of us, without exception, is designed to be God's delegate on earth. Ask yourself, just how often do you behave like a delegate, if you ever do so? Remember, it falls upon each of us to discover the divine spirit inside and live by it. Rule number 25: hell is the here and now, so is heaven. Quit worrying about hell or dreaming about heaven, as they are both present inside this very moment. Every time we fall in love, we ascend to heaven. Every time we hate, envy, or fight someone, we tumble straight into the fires of hell. Rule number 26: the universe is one being. Everything and everyone is interconnected through an invisible web of stories. Whether we are aware of it or not, we're all in a silent conversation. Do no harm, practice compassion, and do not gossip behind anyone's back, not even a seemingly innocent remark. The words that come out of our mouths do not vanish, but are perpetually stored in infinite space, and they will come back to us in due time. One man's pain will hurt us all. One man's joy will make everyone smile. Rule number 27: this world is like a snowy mountain that echoes your voice. Whatever you speak, good or evil, will somehow come back to you. Therefore, if there is someone who harbors ill thoughts about you, saying similarly bad things about him will only make matters worse. You will be locked in a vicious cycle of malevolent energy. Instead, for 40 days and nights, say and think nice things about that person. Everything will be different at the end of the 40 days because you will be different inside. Rule number 28: the past is an interpretation, the future is an illusion. The world does not move through time as if it were a straight line proceeding from the past to the future. Instead, time moves through and within us in endless spirals. Eternity does not mean infinite time, but simply timelessness. If you want to experience eternal illumination, put the past and the future out of your mind and remain within the present moment. Rule number 29. Destiny doesn't mean that your life has been strictly predetermined. Therefore, to leave everything to fate and to not actively contribute to the music of the universe is a sign of sheer ignorance. The music of the universe is all pervading and it is composed on 40 different levels. Your destiny is the level where you will play your tune. You might not change your instrument, but how well to play is entirely in your hands. Rule number 30. A true Sufi is such that even when he's unjustly accused, attacked, and condemned from all sides, he patiently endures, uttering not a single bad word about any of his critics. A Sufi never apportions blame. How can there be opponents or rivals or even others when there is no self in the first place? How can there be anyone to blame when there is only one? Rule number 31. If you want to strengthen your faith, you will need to soften inside. For your faith to be rock solid, your heart needs to be as soft as a feather. Through an illness, accident, loss, or fright, one way or another, we all are faced with incidents that teach us how to become less selfish and judgmental, and more compassionate and generous. Yet some of us learn the lesson and manage to become milder, while some others end up becoming even harsher than before. The only way to get closer to truth is to expand your heart so that it will encompass all humanity and still have room for more love. Rule number 32. Nothing should stand between yourself and God. No imams, priests, rabbis, or any other custodian of moral or religious leadership, not spiritual masters, not even faith. Believe in your values and your rules, but never lord them over others. If you keep breaking other people's hearts, whatever religious duty you perform is no good. Stay away from all sorts of idolatry, for they will blur your vision. Let God and only God be your guide. Learn the truth, my friend, but be careful not to make a fetish out of your truths. Rule number 33. While everyone in the world strives to get somewhere and become someone, only to leave it all behind after death, you aim for the supreme stage of nothingness. Live this life as light and empty as the number zero. We are no different from a pot. It is not the decorations outside, but the emptiness inside that holds us straight. Just like that, it is not what we aspire to achieve, but the consciousness of nothingness that keeps us going. Rule number 34. Submission does not mean being weak or passive. It leads to neither fatalism nor capitulation, just the opposite. True power resides in submission, a power that comes from within. Those who submit to the divine essence of life will live in unperturbed tranquility and peace, even when the whole wide world goes through turbulence after turbulence. Rule number 35. In this world, it is not similarities or regularities that take us a step forward, but blunt opposites. And all the opposites in the universe are present within each and every one of us. Therefore, the believer needs to meet the unbeliever in him until the day one reaches the stage of the perfect human being. Faith is a gradual process and one that necessitates its seeming opposite, disbelief. Rule number 36. The world is erected upon the principle of reciprocity. Neither a drop of kindness nor a speck of evil will remain unreciprocated. Fear not the plots, deceptions, or tricks of other people. If somebody's setting a trap, remember, so is God. He's the biggest plotter. Not even a leaf stares outside God's knowledge. Simply and fully believe in that. Whatever God does, He does beautifully. Rule number 37. God is a meticulous clockmaker, so precise in His order that everything on earth happens in its own time, neither a minute late nor a minute early. And for everyone without exception, the clock works accurately. For each there is a time to love and a time to die. Rule number 38. It is never too late to ask yourself, am I ready to change the life I am living? Am I ready to change within? Even if a single day in your life is the same as the day before, it surely is a pity. At every moment and with each new breath, one should be renewed and renewed again. There is only one way to be born into a new life, to die before death. Rule number 39. There is a perfect harmony and subtle balance in all that is and was in the universe. While the parts change, the whole always remains the same. For every thief who departs this world, a new one is born, and every decent person who passes away is replaced by a new one. In this way, not only does nothing remain the same, but also nothing ever really changes. For every Sufi who dies, another is born somewhere. And finally, rule number 40. A life without love is no account. Don't ask yourself what kind of love you should seek, spiritual or material, divine or mundane, Eastern or Western. Divisions only lead to more divisions. Love has no labels, no definitions. It is what it is, pure and simple. Love is the water of life, and a lover is a soul of fire. The universe turns differently when fire loves water. Now I'm going to read to you some of my favorite parts of the book. In this one, Shams is preparing to see Rumi for the first time. Tomorrow morning, I will go to the big mosque and listen to Rumi. He can be as great a preacher as everyone says. But in the end, the breadth and scope of every speaker are determined by those of his audience. Rumi's words might be like a wild garden, full of teasels, herbs, spruces, and shrubs, but it is always up to the visitor to pick his fancy. While pretty flowers are instantly plucked, few people pay attention to plants with thorns and prickles. Great medicines are often made from these. Isn't it the same with the garden of love? How can love be worthy of its name if one selects solely the pretty things and leaves out the hardships? It is easy to enjoy the good and dislike the bad. Anybody can do that. The real challenge is to love the good and the bad together, not because you need to take the rough with the smooth, but because you need to go beyond such descriptions and accept love in its entirety. There is only one more day before I meet my companion. I cannot sleep. Oh, Rumi, the king of the realm of words and meanings, will you know me when you see me? The book is also scattered with these short stories here and there that are supposed to teach us something related to the storyline. For example, Shams tells this story to Rumi's son when he notifies him that people are saying all sorts of things behind his back. Two men were traveling from one town to another. They come to a stream that had risen due to heavy rainfall. Just when they were about to cross the water, they noticed a young, beautiful woman standing there all alone in need of help. One of the men immediately went to her side. He picked the woman up and carried her in his arms across the stream. Then he dropped her there, waved goodbye, and the two men went their way. During the rest of the trip, the second traveler was unusually silent and sullen, not responding to his friend's questions. After several hours of sulking, unable to keep silent anymore, he said, "Why did you touch that woman? She could have seduced you. Men and women cannot come into contact like that." The first man responded calmly, "My friend, I carried the woman across the stream, and that is where I left her. It is you who have been carrying her ever since." "Some people are like that," Shams said. "They carry their own fears and biases on their shoulders, crushed under all that weight. If you hear of anyone who cannot comprehend the depth of the bond between your father and me, tell him to wash his mind." Now, this last part is Rumi's words after Shams gets murdered and he is left alone. By and large, over time, pain turns into grief, grief turns into silence, and silence turns into lonesomeness, as vast and bottomless as the dark oceans. Today is the 16th anniversary of the day Shams and I met. Every year on the last day of October, I retreat into a solitude that grows in weight day by day. I spend 40 days in Chilla, thinking of the 40 rules. I remember and review each of them, but there in the far reaches of my mind, there is only Shams of Tabriz glittering. You think you cannot live anymore. You think that the light of your soul has been put out and that you will stay in the dark forever. But when you are engulfed by such solid darkness, when you have both eyes closed to the world, a third eye will open in your heart. And only then do you come to realize that eyesight conflicts with inner knowledge. No eye sees so clear and sharp as the eye of love. After grief comes another season, another valley, another you, and the lover who is nowhere to be found, you start to see everywhere. You see him in the drop of water that falls into the ocean, in the high tide that follows the waxing of the moon, or in the morning wind that spreads its fresh smell. You see him in the geomancy symbols in the sand, in the tiny particles of rock glittering under the sun, in the smile of a newborn baby, or in your throbbing vein. How can you say Shams is gone when he's everywhere and in everything? Deep in the slow whirling of sorrow and longing, I am with Shams every day. I think these parts are good if you have ever lost someone you love. The world has been moving and changing at a speed we human beings can neither control nor comprehend. In 1258, Baghdad fell to Mongols. The one city that prided itself on its fortitude and glamour and claimed to be the center of the world suffered defeat. In 1260, it was the Mongols' turn to lose. The Mamelukes of Egypt defeated them. Yesterday's victors became today's losers. Every winner is inclined to think he will be triumphant forever. Every loser tends to feel that he's going to be beaten forever. But both are wrong for the same reason. Everything changes except the face of God. I'm going to end the reading here. If you have any book suggestions for me, leave them in the comments. And please read the description box for knowing why I don't do full audiobooks anymore.